I don't want my actions to lead to illness. And I know that some illnesses are inevitable. Fate always plays its course. But if I can do anything in my power to look after my body, to allow it to be my temple, I will do that. Welcome back to another episode of Self-Dom Beautiful Humans. I'm Dom, your host, and today is a solo episode with me. I recently hit 365 days of sobriety, woohoo! And I was thinking, you know what? I want to do a deep dive on what I've learnt because it has been the most rewarding journey I have ever been on. I wanted to talk through a few statistics before I jump into my learnings. So we have seen a 20 to 30% increase in people identifying as sober curious or taking part in no alcohol movements in the last 5 to 10 years. This is pretty incredible because when I was growing up, going out and drinking and doing whatever else comes with that was the norm. Everyone was doing it. I don't think I knew one person who was sober curious. And now because I have Walk Club and I'm meeting people from aged 17 to women in their 60s, I'm really seeing a shift amongst all generations. And it's so incredible to see because not drinking alcohol doesn't mean you don't have fun, doesn't mean you don't go out, doesn't mean you don't socialize. It just means you do it without alcohol. And one trend I've seen on TikTok recently, which I find quite concerning, is this praise on being alone and people really glamorizing themselves, not socializing and, just watching shows in bed or doing all your self-care, but alone. I don't really think that is healthy. I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to socialize. And studies show that. They've got the Harvard study, which I always talk about, the longest study in history on happiness and longevity. And the number one thing that will improve your happiness and longevity is connection, human connection. So I think these two topics of being alone and being so into your self-care and health versus going out and drinking and being around people all the time, I think you need to find this balance. And I know we throw around the word balance all the time, but that is when you will reap the most rewards. That is when you will see the most healthy change in your life. It's having this balance of being okay in your alone time and loving your self-care, but not isolating yourself from going out because you are not drinking. And yeah, it's just something I really want to touch on because I've been seeing it a lot and I'm like, wait, we've gone from people going out all the time, like my youth, we'd go out all the time, to now women just wanting to be alone at home. We need to find the in-between. And yeah, I hope this episode inspires you all to prioritize your health. If you've been considering being sober curious, learning a little bit more about it through my own journey, but also to encourage you to still go out and to still have fun and to still go to the dinners and to do all the things just without alcohol. Another study that really highlights the life-changing impact not drinking can have is that sobriety or reducing your drinking significantly improves mental health and physical health within months. It's also been associated with improved mood, sleep, and cognitive function, often within the first 30 to 90 days. So when you stop drinking, the benefits happen pretty quickly. And that's something to encourage you as well. And through my journey, I noticed that those first 90 days were the hardest. Your body's detoxing, you're getting used to this new way of life, you're going into that time spent alone because you're not sure how to socialize without it. But when you get to that 90-day mark, it becomes so much easier. It becomes effortless. And then when you get to the year mark, wow, you really don't crave drinking. Tom and I went for a date yesterday and it was so nice just to be out at a restaurant trying new cuisine. And every restaurant has mocktails now. Or you can just have a soda water with lime. And I always ask for a wine glass to be a little bit fancy. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into today's episode. So the number one learning I had was the Sunday scaries are not worth it. Every weekend, I would wake up with a hangover that left me feeling anxious. You'd have those moments where you'd be in the shower and you touch your head like, oh, I said that. Or you'd be cooking and you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like those little moments would come back into your memory. And those Sunday scaries where you're ordering Uber Eats and you just feel like shit, it's not worth it to me personally. I remember the last time I had a really big night. I got home early hours of the morning and I had lost my keys. And I had to ring the intercom of our neighbors to get me into the building. And I was in my clothes from the night before. And I remember the anxiety, feeling ashamed. That was like the last moment I was like, no, I can't do this again. And then obviously I've spoken about how my last time drinking ever was in New York, which was October last year. But yeah, the Sunday scaries are not worth it. My Sundays now are for prep for the week, meal prepping. We do a weekly massage, which I used to think was such a luxury. But when you're not going out buying drinks, I spend $72 on a massage every week. That's actually not that bad. It's like 2 cocktails out, and I would rather get a massage. The studies show that binge drinking increases anxiety and depression the next day. And I was already someone who was susceptible to these emotions, and having insomnia, disordered eating, and anxiety in the past, the drinking only exacerbated that for me. At the time, it felt like it was masking it, but I know that it really made it worse. And I noticed a pattern with myself. I noticed that you'd feel shit on the Sunday, and then eventually by the Thursday, you'd start feeling better, and then you want to drink again. And I think this is a cycle that so many people go through. For me, now that I'm living in my purpose and my passion, I just want to dedicate all my time to that. And a big reason as well that I don't want to drink is after seeing what my mum went through, being in hospital, being so unwell, I don't want my actions to lead to illness. And I know that some illnesses are inevitable. Fate always plays its course. But if I can do anything in my power to look after my body, to allow it to be my temple, I will do that. And I just don't want to be on that cycle anymore of living for the weekends, drinking, and then feeling terrible all week, then drinking again. So that leads me into my next point, which is not drinking really led me to find my purpose. Life is busy. Life is busy for everybody. Everyone has stuff going on. But when it comes to finding purpose, it comes in the stillness. It comes in the moments that you slow down. And if you're living for the weekend and always going out, where are you going to find those little moments of stillness to think? Meditation was one of the main ways I found my purpose, because it gave me that 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night to be alone with my thoughts. But it was when I stopped drinking and became sober curious, which aligned with when the podcast started. I was sober curious for a year. That was when the podcast started. I had the journal brand. Everything changed because I had more time. I didn't have those Sunday scaries. I would think about what would make my cup full. I would dive into journaling prompts because I had the time. And because I wasn't going out, I was going to the self-help workshops. I was going to the yoga class. I was meeting with people who also didn't drink and who were really prioritizing their work and their purpose. And I just felt so inspired. And it's one of the reasons as well, I'm such a big believer. If you want to do something, just start. Don't aim for perfection. And don't have excuses, because you will find time. When I look at my career path, it has exponentially grown since I removed alcohol from my life. Exponentially. I feel that any room I enter, I can be really present. And then you make a connection with someone, which leads to something else. 2 of the events I've had for self-dom were through 2 women I met at Walk Club, being present with them, connecting with them, asking them questions. You never know the opportunities that are around you. But if you're doing the same thing every weekend, going out, drinking, feeling shit on the Sunday, you're really limiting your ability to be open to the amazing things, to these connections, to the manifestations that you want in your life. This is the moment to ask yourself, when was the last time you just wrote in a journal, free wrote exactly how you would want your life to look? How you would spend your days, how you would spend your weekends, how your mornings would look like, what you would dress like, your partner, your family, everything. When was the last day you just wrote this all down on paper? That's why we came out with the Line Journal, because it has been profound for me to just brain dump. Every morning I have to write 2 pages in the journal, and I just write down exactly how the day is going to play out. And even today, it didn't go as I have planned. This morning I'm recording a podcast, but I was actually meant to be doing a guest interview, but she cancelled 4 minutes before. Because I said that this morning was going to be incredible, I was going to learn and listen, and I was going to show up as my best self. I've crisis averted and I've recorded this solo episode. I'd already kind of put that armor on to take on the day through free writing. But free writing really only works when your mind is clear. And your mind is only clear when you're not hungover and when you're not drinking. And I don't want this episode to be like, oh my God, Dom hates drinking, Dom hates this. I don't. I think everything in balance. I think everything in balance. I think everything's in moderation. I think the problem is that people get on the cycle of drinking every weekend, doing the same things every weekend, because that's what they've been doing for the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I think it's important to break the circuit and drink on special occasions. Go for it. Drink maybe 1 glass. But when you're binge drinking and you feel not aligned with your purpose, this could be a reason why. The only time that I really felt like I wanted to drink was when Mum was really, really sick, and I just wanted to mask the emotion. I didn't want to feel, I wanted to numb. And I stayed strong and I didn't do it. And I think that was a real pivotal moment for me, and it made me realize how much I used alcohol to mask a feeling, because I'd set myself up with the challenge to not drink for the year. So I got through that little hiccup. I got through that challenge. And now I'm at that year mark. I really don't see myself drinking. And I would never say never, but yeah, I just feel so aligned with my purpose. It's one of the main benefits I've experienced from not drinking. The third thing is my dopamine baseline has normalized. I used to just chase highs. And I think as well, being a model for such a long time, you get these big highs with work. You book the job, you cast for your favorite brand, you get to travel, and you're getting all these dopamine hits. And then on top of that, a lot of events, you're drinking, you're going out. I found myself not feeling joy from the simple things. When I'd go on a walk, I needed to have music on. I needed to be texting someone. I needed to be with someone. Distract. And one thing I've really noticed since not drinking is because I'm enjoying that stillness, I'm finding joy in the really simple things. I live in a state of awe. I look around the world. I look around and I'm just like, wow, everything. And this manifests into more amazing things. It's allowed me to get through some really hard times this year because that baseline of dopamine is normalized. And it was funny because when I was looking for my forever partner, one thing I always said that I needed was a man who was excited by the small things. And I remember with Tom, when we went for our first date, we had oysters and we were both like, oh, these are the best oysters we've ever eaten. And I love people who show up in the world enthusiastic and excited and with energy. And I really believe that not drinking cultivates that sort of energy. That really is a byproduct of looking after yourself. And I think for me, the no drinking has really allowed me to show up as my best self to the things that matter. I've also said no to a lot more things since I don't drink. But when I do go to things, I really do my best to be the energy I want. And again, it aligns with that free writing because you're writing about that version of you and how she would show up and what she would be wearing and the people she would be connecting with. So as you'll notice throughout this episode, all these things intertwine and relate and connect, with not drinking being the main catalyst for them all. My fourth one is I let go of some people in my life, and this was something I really needed. When I went through my last breakup, I found myself needing validation from the people in my life and needing to go out to prove that I was okay by myself. And when I decided to step away and become sober curious in 2023, I really did let go of a lot of people. And I still admire those people and I still love those people, but it felt like such a shift for me. Because instead of having a friendship group of hundreds, I have a friendship group of 20. Our wedding was 30 people, 30 friends. It kind of put me back into my roots. My love language is quality time. I love quality time one-on-one with people. So when I was such a big social butterfly, always going out, it kind of went against my number one love language because you can't really have quality time when you're at a party with so many people. I just feel so much more myself having a smaller group of friends. At first, though, I remember thinking, I'm not lovable without drinking. I'm not cool anymore. But I've come to realize that your definition of cool changes. Your definition of fun changes as you change. And I've changed. My definition of fun is getting a matcha with a friend, trying a new cafe, watching a movie at the house. Like those really intimate one-on-one moments I find so special. I think as well, I always go back to my learnings from when Mum passed away, but when Mum passed away, I really recognized the power of deep connections with people. When Mum was so sick in hospital, it was family that she wanted near her. That was it. And when you're giving yourself out to so many people and going to every party, how can you be there for your family? How can you be there for your dad, your brother, your aunt, or your uncle? I just feel really grateful that I've had these learnings in my 20s, so that now I've entered my new decade, my 30s. I just feel so comfortable with the people in my life. And yeah, I think we need to take away the stigma that having less friends is not as cool or not as rewarding. I think if you have 3 people in your life that you could call on the phone and you could call them when shit's hitting the fan, you've done an amazing job. I think when I had so many people, when life got hard, I always relied on my boyfriend at the time, and then we broke up and I just felt lost. And then that's why I was just trying to go to everything and want to be loved by everyone instead of really honing in on the people that mattered. So that was a bit of a learning for me. And yeah, I think it's something I'm really seeing in the younger generation, which I'm adoring because I get to see girls at Walk Club. Some of my new besties are like 22, 23, which is so special, so mature. I'm always like, guys, I was so different to you at your age. And so many of them are not drinking. And I was like, part of me says, just get it out your system now. Because it was fun at the time. But once you hit a certain age and you have these certain learnings, you realize that you can't keep doing that forever because your dopamine baseline is going to be destroyed. Your energy is going to be destroyed. Your hormones are going to be ruined. All the things. I definitely let go of people, but I am the happiest I've ever been with the relationships in my life. The last one is I find it so much easier to stick to my habits and routines. I wake up so excited to go for a walk, to get sunshine in my eye, to meditate, to journal, to do all the things because I'm not hungover. Those are the things that bring me joy. I want to be cooking in the kitchen. I don't want to be Uber Eatsing. Again, it links to that dopamine baseline. I'm just so joyful for the little things. I love going grocery shopping. I love eating healthy. And not drinking is a huge way to stick to your routine. And also, if you're someone who is trying to stay motivated at the gym, if you're hungover, that is so difficult. And if you're someone who's trying to hit nutrition goals, but you're drinking cocktails all weekend, that's really hard because there's a lot of sugar in your drinks. There's so many stats that talk about the impact of alcohol on your hormones. So I think it's something to really think about. And if you're someone who has certain goals, alcohol might not be aligned with it. And again, I go back to the word balance. If you love a spicy mug, go for it, but maybe just have 2. I used to have, I reckon, 8. So it's all about knowing your balance and what works for you. Another reason not drinking is going to help you stick to your routine so much is it improves your sleep. Oh my God. When you drink alcohol, you fall asleep easier. However, it's not deep rest. If you wear a wearable, when you drink alcohol, your sleep score is down the tube. And when your sleep is bad, your hunger cues are off. It is so hard to stick to a healthy diet. You crave sugar, you crave salt. It is so hard to work hard at the gym. Your body is also not working optimally, so you're not going to be able to give all your energy at the gym. So all in all, those are my 5 learnings from not drinking. I really want to hone in that it's all about balance, okay? Drinking isn't the devil, but if you're someone who is curious about it, don't drink because everyone around you is drinking. Don't drink because you think you can't go out without it. You can. You can. I'm actually going to a silent disco that is drug-free and alcohol-free in January. Reach out to me if you want the details. I'm thinking we do like a little self-dom group and we all go. Maybe get a party bus or something. Let me know if you guys would be keen. And yeah, I'm just so excited to keep exploring this sober curious journey, this sober journey. And if you guys have any questions, DM me, write it in the comments. I hope you're feeling inspired to look after your body like a temple. This episode wasn't designed to make you scared of alcohol. I just wanted to share my own journey and experience. If you love the episode, share it on your socials, tag me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. It really, really helps me too. And I will see you on the next episode.